7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Echo, echo, echo. Speed is fresh. Just watch me whip. No, watch me nanny. Alright, let's get into this video. Cut the music. Kamala Harris, another White House propaganda flick. Let's get into it.
Hi guys, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning everyone. Good
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Um,
Hi everyone, good morning. Good morning. Hey, relax. Alright? You're freaking me out, bruh.
so I'm very much looking forward to our discussion this morning, and by way of introduction to the discussion, as everyone knows, a few weeks ago, the president asked me to take on a role of leadership in addressing the root causes of migration.
And yet, how many times have you been to the border?
And to focus on the Northern Triangle countries, similar to the work he did when he was vice president years ago. And so the work we are...
The countries of the Northern Triangle. That sounds so epic. I was like, I think they're just the kind of like El Salvador and stuff. And they are, but it does sound like an epic alliance. We are the countries of the Northern Triangle. Just like my hat.
Doing is informed by that approach and that strategy and that direction. It is work that also...
Let's look at body language, shall we? When you look to the ceiling while you're talking, does that indicate you feel confident? Or does that indicate maybe you don't? All right, let's keep going.
Is informed for me by certain just basic principles and beliefs. One is that most people don't want to leave home.
Except if your country is not great and you want to go to an awesome country and they're like, hey, we have the border wide open for you. Just come over, bruh.
They don't want to leave the place where their grandparents lived. They don't want to leave the place.
If they didn't want to leave, then why did they leave? That's a question you need to ask.
Where they are familiar with the culture and the language, to use...
Just go to Miami. You'll fit right in.
a phrase from an old television show, Cheers, where everybody knows...
Cheers. Way to be culturally relevant, my dude.
...your name. Most people don't want to leave home. And when they do, it is usually...
She almost spilt her water just now. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like, and if they do, oh, shoot. I almost got the water.
For one of two reasons, or a combination of the two.
So there's only two reasons, according to Kamala Harris, for somebody to cross the border. Let's find out what those reasons are. I'm willing to bet it has nothing to do with their country sucks and they want to go to a country of opportunity and live out the rest of their life. Let's continue.
They are fleeing some harm.
So harm. So they're assuming, let's use the word cartel, and that's why. That is definitely a possibility. Gangs have overrun many of these countries.
Or to remain home is to remain in a position where there is no opportunity to meet essential needs that include feeding their children, keeping a roof over their head, and engaging in productive work.
And again, let's focus on why that's the reason, rather than just saying they're leaving for opportunity. Why are they leaving for opportunity is always a question you should ask yourself as a politician. Not just, oh, they're just leaving because they want opportunity. It begs the question, Why isn't there opportunity where they came from? What's wrong with the political system that's going on in the countries they're from? What's wrong with the hierarchy of power in those countries? Don't ask that question because that's racist. Let's keep going.
So that is one part of what informs my perspective on this issue of addressing the root causes.
Okay, one part of root causes. Not, hey, Biden said, if you want to come out, let's go. I'm happy to be the guy that they consider they can just come in the border like he said.
The other is this. There's an important four-letter word, which I...
Hey, do not curse on my channel, young lady, or else you're gonna get slapped.
I hope always inspires us to do the work we do. And that word is hope. And in this regard,
do you love when politicians try to they're like, okay, now I'm going to go in for the emotional tie-in. And the word is hope. And what does hope mean? To have hope for something. She looks like she's going to try. She's like, she gets into this voice like all politicians do when they want to emotionally pull on the emotional strings of your heart. It's like she's like, they want to come to the country for opportunity and that there's no opportunity in the country they're coming from. But let's get into the real reason of why they're coming. It's hope. Okay, do you hear the tone in my voice, the voice inflection I'm giving? It's to signify that I'm talking through my emotional heart, no longer through my brain.
our focus on the Northern Triangle, looking at the fact that we have an opportunity as the United States of America with the resources and with the will that we have.
That's right. A country in mega debt. Let's talk about all the resources we have.
To provide the people of the Northern Triangle with some hope.
And what does hope mean to communists and socialists? Money.
That if they stay at home, help is on the way.
Again, Ronald Reagan said the words you don't want to hear out of your government is hope's on the way. Or I'm just butchering that quote, but it's something like that. And she says it all the time. It's almost like a slap in the face of Ronald Reagan.
And they can have some hope that the opportunities and the needs that they have will be met in some way.
By the U.S. government just giving money to these countries and assuming that their countries are going to distribute it well for their citizens and they're not going to still come here. I'm calling boo.
Now, I will say that I'm very clear. I know we all are. This is a group of experts. I'm, again, really looking forward to
Again, let's retire that word experts. I hate that word with a passion.
hearing from you. We are all very clear. The work that we have the potential to do in the Northern Triangle will not evidence itself overnight by any stretch.
And again, as thousands of children pour into this country and, it caught a few terrorists from other countries and all that stuff. Let's not forget about that. She's letting you know that, we're not going to stop the border crisis immediately. We're going to do the long diplomatic approach that funnels more bureaucracy and just slow-moving government doing absolutely nothing to make you feel good on the inside.
We are looking at issues that have been a long time in the making. We are looking at issues that relate to the need for economic development, a need for
and there it is. Economic money.
resilience around extreme climate.
God. It's a political ideology when you just fit it into everything. The border crisis, it's actually a climate crisis. It has nothing to do with economic outcome or them not being able to provide for their families or war-torn countries by cartels that are sweeping the nation and killing jobs and murdering children and shooting guns in the street and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's that there's a climate crisis going on, and you need to know.
Looking at the fact that this is In large part, these Northern Triangle countries, a large part of their economic base was agriculture, and then what the severe climate experiences have done.
She's like Joe Biden when she when she starts to talk about things that she has no idea what she's talking about, that you can clearly reading from a cue card. She's like me. She's got a little dyslexia going on. And then she's like, these people that are like, they're doing things and oh crap, I need to go back to my card.
in dampening and really harming their ability to have that economic.
Kamala, no one has any idea what the F you're talking about, bruh.
Driver in their countries. We are looking at issues that relate to violence and corruption. We are looking at extreme food insecurity and what must be addressed there.
Why do you think that happens?
And so the focus that we are bringing to our work in the Northern Triangle is really about...
Man, she is flustered on this part.
Assessing and figuring out what we might do to encourage economic development. Addressing what we know is present there in terms of the need to address...
She had a little throat bubble just now. Man, she is... Now there's a face. That's a face only a mom, grandma, great-grandma could love. Having a bad day? Then grab a Snickers. This episode is brought to you by Snickers. Do you like Snickers? I do, because I like myself. Sir, please don't. Let's keep going.
Issues that relate to integrity of government, rule of law, corruption. But looking at it also in the context of what we can do with the resources we have to assist on issues like agriculture, farming, water...
Farming.
Irrigation. I happen to really care a lot about water policy.
What? Water's my big thing. I care about water policy. I'm a water kind of girl. I want my H2O to be really high on the 2 and the O, if you know what I mean.
We are looking at how we can internationalize our effort. And so there is great work that is already happening within our initiative that includes reaching out to our allies through the UN. There is the work that we need to do to look at, again, stability around food insecurity, but also...
I love when she like closes her eyes. Again, we need to look at stability.
Stability around making sure that women and girls are being protected and have the...
She's like, yeah, women and girls, did you get that? I'm talking to you guys. Do you like what I'm saying? You're going to love it.
Opportunities that they deserve to have. So these are some of the areas of focus for us. And we are convening this group of experts today to hear from you, because you all have been working for years in this region. And I want to learn from you and get your expert advice on what works and what does not work to address, again, the root causes.
Ugh, this girl, she is out of her depth.
Of people leaving the Northern Triangle, so that we can, as a member of the Western Hemisphere, do what we are able to do to address those needs, knowing that it affects the entire Western Hemisphere, and that means us. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I'm looking forward to beginning our discussion.
Ugh, that was so rough to listen to. Homegirl is struggling speaking live, and it was just a vague statement about how, basically, how do we make the Northern Triangle better off? I would suggest just leaving them alone and locking up our borders and not allowing people just to come across the border and then forcing them to stay there and make their home better. I don't know. And the ones that are actually seeking an asylum, actually seeking refuge, come. But the ones that are just looking for an opportunity, maybe we help their government figure out ways to do that. But I don't think their government wants to stop what they're doing. So
President, will you visit the southern border? Do you have a trip planned?
Great question. Kamala, you're having this discussion with these experts. Why don't you go to the southern border and actually see what the heck is going on?
Do you plan one in the future if the situation with migration doesn't resolve itself?
So, as I mentioned to the experts, the president has asked Secretary Mayorkas to address what is
Man, she gets those throat bubbles so much where she can't talk very well.
going on at the border, and he has been working very hard.
All right, so the reporter asks, are you going to the border? She basically says, no, I'm not going to the border because what you don't see can't hurt you. Because she knows it's terrible and doesn't want the optics. She'd rather have a roundtable discussion with experts than actually see the pain and suffering that is happening at the southern border. And again, it's all about politics for these people and about being celebrities. I'll talk to a round table of experts, but I don't want to see these disgusting people crossing the border.
At that, and is showing some progress because of his hard work. I have been asked to lead the issue of dealing with root causes in the Northern Triangle, similar to what then
I'm the special projects manager. I don't actually get into actual stuff.
Vice President did many years ago. But I will tell you that these are issues that are not going to be addressed overnight in terms of the root causes issue.
Again, we're not going to stop the border because we're going to take it a different direction. We don't want to stop the actual cause of the bleeding. We want to take the long game.
A large part of our focus is diplomatic in terms of what we can do in a way that is about working with these countries. So, for example, I have talked with the president of Mexico, the president of Guatemala. We have, well, I'm probably saying too much, but we have plans in the work to go to Guatemala as soon as possible, given all of the restrictions in terms of COVID and things of that.
Why was she laughing at that part? She laughs at such weird parts. It just makes me so uncomfortable sometimes.
That nature. But these are areas of focus for a very important and good reason. We must address the symptoms, and that is what is happening with the team of folks who are working on the board.
No. You stop the bleeding first. You don't, if you have, if you're bleeding out your leg but you have a broken leg, you don't fix the broken leg first. You stop the bleeding first, and then you address the broken leg. I was trying to figure out a metaphor, and that one came to my mind first.
Order led by Ali Mayorkas, but we also have to deal with the root causes. Otherwise, we are just in a perpetual system of only dealing with the symptoms. So our focus is to deal with the root causes, and I'm looking forward to traveling, hopefully as my first trip to the Northern Triangle, stopping in Mexico and then going to Guatemala sometime soon.
Where I'll be baking and eating street tacos with my friends.
Success. How do you evaluate success? This has been an intractable problem for you.
Thank you. Okay.
There are many metrics.
Do you hear all the aides? Hey, thank you. Okay, enough.
And I'm happy to follow up with you after I talk to the experts also. But I agree with you. We have to figure out how we're going to assess
I hate that word,
our
experts.
impact. But let me be clear, and everyone who's been working on this, for decades, will tell you it will not be obvious overnight.
If you stop the bleeding first, then you can address the root causes. You gotta stop the bleeding first. The borders are not secure. You have to secure those first, and then you can talk about diplomacy, helping other nations in the Northern Triangle, trying to figure out what's going on, help their governments, get rid of corruption, also tamper down the cartels. Let's pretend, America is so weird that they're like pretending like this is not a huge issue at that southern border where the cartels just own the southern border.
The work we have to do is going to require a commitment that is continuous, that we institutionalize with our partners, and that's the work that I'm prepared to do, which is to begin that process of meaningful work, knowing that we're going to have a long-term strategy, and it will take some time to see the benefits of that work, but it will be worth it. Thank you.
She never she never addresses like root causes or like root issues. Thoughts on the video? Bunch of blah. She said, and then they said, but you know, it's typical, very Kamala-esque. I don't understand how, like, I know the media likes to promote her like she's this positive figure, she's this like this powerhouse public figure, political faction. And she's not. She struggles with these simple things. A little interview, she had like throat bubbles talking the whole time. She got nervous. A couple of points, she looked to the ceiling for answers. I think she's nervous because she knows what she's doing isn't enough, and she knows what the root issue is. It'd be hard for me not to assume that she knows that the border is an actual issue, but she sees it as a political win for her party's faction to keep the border flowing, as opposed to locking the border down first and then addressing this root cause with these experts. And again, I hate that word expert, because what does expert signify? That you cannot have an opinion about what we're talking about, because these people are experts and you just know how to read. Okay. Have a great day, people. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to watch my news for the day, and then watch my last video about the Ukraine-Russia situation as it goes down, and it happened.